All right, today, so checking your blood pressure at home, 5 tips, guys. So why do you want to check blood pressure at home? Because at the doctor's office, that is not the way to do it. Because at the doctor's office, your blood pressure could be abnormally high by something called white coat hypertension, meaning that you see a white coat, you see a nurse, you see a doctor, and your blood pressure goes high. And it has been known since long that checking your blood pressure at home is the best way to do it because that is your home environment. And that best represents the emotions and the blood pressure that you have. So you got to check this properly at home. These are 5 tips and they're all very important. So let's not miss any of this. Now, number 1 is going to be that make sure you check your blood pressure almost at the same time each and every day. This is going to be good practice. So what some people do is when they wake up in the morning, they want to see what their blood pressure is. Well, that is not a good thing to do because what happens when you actually get up the first 5 and 10 minutes, your hormones are actually raging into your body. Your cortisol is high and that could abnormally raise your blood pressure. You don't want that reading to represent your blood pressure. The other thing that happens is that your bladder is full. So when your bladder is full, your blood pressure does tend to run higher. So what I do recommend people is that they should first take a leak or relieve themselves and then look to take their blood pressure. Of course, when they relieve themselves, wash up, relax just for a little bit, and then look to get around with getting your blood pressure checked. Next, number 2, you have to keep in mind that you have to be calm for 5 minutes before you actually take your reading. This is because that if you are talking, let's say, for example, your blood pressure will be higher if you are talking. So try to avoid that. When you are sitting down for 5 minutes, relax, take it easy, take some deep breaths, and then go about taking your blood pressure reading. So number 3 we need to keep in mind is, and it is equally important, that you have to be seated properly. You should make sure you are not sitting in a sofa. You should find a chair in the house that you can dedicate that chair to be your blood pressure chair. All right. So make sure we find a chair in the house that makes you sit upright, back fully supported. Make sure you're not leaning back. Make sure you're not leaning forward. Make sure you're just right, straight, and upright. Now, what you have to do, of course, is make sure that your feet are not hanging. Your feet should be flat on the floor. Your legs should not be crossed. No crossing of the legs. And then your arms should be supported. One thing is you have a table in front of you and you're putting your arms on the table. Or it could just be the armrest of your chair. That could work as well in this situation. Your basic goal is that your arms should be resting comfortably, whether that is with a table in front of you or you have the armrests of your chair and you can rest your arm. Your goal with any of this is that your upper arm should be chest height, should be at the level of your heart, and that is the best way to position yourself properly. Now, number 4 is something that is probably the most difficult to do. That is, you have to try to look to do 2 to 3 readings and try to get an average of these readings. And this is difficult because, yes, it takes some time because you have to take a little bit of a break between your readings. Try to give yourself at least 1 minute's break. Make sure doing all of this 1 minute you are relaxed, calm, not agitated, not looking at your social feed and getting upset at somebody else, or looking at your emails and crap, oh my God, I gotta get to this. So don't do any of this. Keep light, keep calm, make sure your morning starts off right. Do a little bit of breathing exercises when you are trying to take your readings and you're calm and comfortable. One thing to remember is that a lot of people keep the cuff on and the cuff has not completely deflated when you are about to take your next reading. So make sure that your cuff has completely deflated after your first reading and even loosen it up a little bit, okay? Loosen it up. If you don't loosen it up, the pressure could still persist on your muscles and your blood vessels, so that may affect your second reading. And of course, you don't want anything to happen like that. And if you do deflate the cuff and open it up a little bit, this will let you have something to do in that 1 minute window period. So just make sure you loosen it up a little bit, do another reading, and then relax again, and then do your third reading. And 3 readings is optimal, but you can probably get away with 2 if you have done them properly. All right, number 5 is something that I may have made a mistake on this in the past. One is, of course, exercise. Try to not exercise 30 minutes before you take your reading. And let me combine this with try not to have caffeine 30 minutes before your reading. Now, about caffeine, there's a lot of debate about caffeine, but it has been shown that at least, let's say for the first 30 minutes, caffeine does tend to raise your blood pressure. Now, it may not raise your blood pressure consistently throughout the day, but at least for the first 30 minutes, drinking caffeine or coffee in any amounts or any large amounts can potentially lead to your abnormally high blood pressure reading. So try to avoid that. Just try to take your blood pressure before you drink your caffeine, or if you are a morning exercise person, okay, maybe take your blood pressure before you exercise, or at least after 30 minutes have lapsed that you can now take your blood pressure. And as I mentioned when I started this video, that your home blood pressure readings is what your doctor should take into account when they're deciding what you should be doing. So in the event your blood pressure is persistently high, then that could be a cause of concern. Always get in touch with your doctor, and you may need to implement some lifestyle modifications or de-stress yourself, or even if needed, you may need to get on some medication. But I think you must follow all these 5 steps because this is very important. So guys, you can see how important taking your blood pressure correctly is. And if you really want to work on your blood pressure, I have a detailed course which I call the Blood Pressure Boss course. It will get you the knowledge that you need to correct your blood pressure. It goes over aspects of the physiology of blood pressure as well as natural treatments and supplements and exercises, all of this without medication. And you can start doing this right now and today because it is readily available. And if you are taking medication, it goes over the uses, the most common side effects that you should know about. You have the whole course. So the good thing about this is you have the whole course available to yourselves. You can watch it whenever you want. It is also so economical that everybody can afford it, and it is the same price as a regular dinner outing. Although I feel that the value you will get is truly priceless, it will get you in the mood to fix your blood pressure. That's the real benefit in my opinion, and you will take your health seriously and give yourself the motivation that you need. I also have motivational videos in that course. Thank you so much. Talk to you guys soon.